Tonight's forum is brought to you in part by Archer's Total Home Healthcare, Fairweather Financial, Paramount Insurance, Self-Defense Solutions, Valley Insurance, Volunteer Federal Bank. Now let's go live to the studios of WMTY and WDEH. Here is Brian Birchfield and Tommy Millsaps.
Good evening. We welcome you live to the studios of WMTY and WDEH. I'm Brian Birchfield, joined along with Tommy Millsaps tonight, my co-moderator, for another night, continuing our series of Monroe County political forums. We're starting out with our sheriff candidates tonight, and then later this evening to follow, we'll have candidates for Monroe County Mayor. Also helping us out tonight, our timekeeper, Miss Marie Millsaps. Guy working our camera for us tonight, Mark Latham, and then Fargo running master controls. And we now have our sheriff candidates, two gentlemen running in the Republican primary. They're unopposed in the general election, so the winner of this race come May 3rd will be the sheriff. Of course, we have the incumbent, Tommy Jones, and then we have the challenger, Mr. Randy White. And go over a few rules, and we have very few for this forum. Again, as I said on Tuesday night with our 1st District County Commission candidates, this is not a debate, this is a forum. A debate would lend itself to you guys going back and forth. That's not what we're doing tonight. This is a forum. Tommy and I, as voters, are asking you questions that we want to know and that we're sure that other voters want to know, and you are responding to us as potential voters. We're going to give you a time limit. We'll ask you the question, tell you how much time we have. Each candidate will get to answer the same question or a form of the same question. As we are going through those answers, we will, after the question, we'll tell you how much time you have. Marie, our timekeeper, when you get to 30 seconds left in your time, she'll raise her hand. At 10 seconds, she'll raise her hand again. And then when your time is up, Marie, hit the bell over there for our listeners so they can hear it. There we go. You'll hear the bell in the background, and then guys, when the bell sounds, just stop right where you're at, even if it's mid-sentence, and we'll go from there. Early voting begins in just a few days, April the 13th, and it'll run through April the 28th, and then, of course, primary election day here in Monroe County, Tuesday, May 3rd. You guys ready to go?
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll start out and simply take 3 minutes and introduce yourself and tell folks something they may not know about you. And Tommy, we'll start with you.
I'm Sheriff Tommy Jones. Guys, I want to thank you all for hosting this tonight, and thank all the listeners for joining us tonight to listen to what myself and Randy have to say. A little bit about myself. I started working at the Sheriff's Office in 1999 as a corrections officer. Later became, a year later in 2000, became a road deputy. From that point on, a road sergeant, canine handler, got attached to the Appalachian HIDA program where I worked narcotics, and then came in 2014 under Mr. White here as chief deputy. Later appointed to be sheriff, and then ran 2 elections since then to continue to be sheriff. Lifelong resident of Monroe County, married for 20 years now, have a 13-year-old son that is outgrowing me by leaps and bounds. Since I've been in office, we've accomplished a lot of things I'm proud of, and I guess we'll go into that a little bit more later as time allows. But again, thank you all for having us tonight, and for everyone for listening.
Thank you, Tommy. Randy White?
Yes, my name is Randy White. I was born and raised here in Monroe County, being a resident all my life. Worked in law enforcement EMS for over 34 years. Served the citizens of Monroe County. It's been one of the greatest things I've done. I love my career. It's been very, very blessed with it. Things that you may not know about me is I am a minister of the gospel. Also, I've been teaching my Sunday school class at Westside Baptist Church for about 8 years. Play guitar in a Christian gospel band as well. And look forward to serving Monroe County, and have enjoyed it. Currently the EMS director for Monroe County. We've done a lot of things with the ambulance service that I'm very proud of, and look forward to the opportunity of maybe serving as your sheriff.
You You're listening to a political forum right here on WMTY and WDEH. As well as listen on the radio, you can watch live video on our Facebook page, Oldies 98.3 WMTY. Have candidates in the Republican primary for sheriff, and there's no opposition in the general election, so one of these two guys will be the sheriff in the next term when the primary election comes up on May 3rd. So now let's get into some questions. Tommy, you have the first one.
Thank you. I think we're starting with Randy
Yes.
on this one, and I believe you have 3 minutes to answer this one. What do you believe are the top 3 concerns or issues law enforcement officials are facing today, and how do you propose to address them here in Monroe County?
Top 3. Drugs evidently is going to be one of those, and pretty much everything that we're facing spins off of that catalyst in our county. Drugs is one. Right now we're facing an epidemic of drugs like we never faced before in our county with heroin and fentanyl that's coming in, and it's pouring in from Mexico. We have people who are taking those drugs right now. Our rate of suicide or death by overdose has increased quite a bit in the last couple of years. So also spinning off of that is thefts. I was reading an article that came out when the sheriff and them did their neighborhood watch, and that I think Detective Filial was saying last year there's about $2 million worth of property thefts in Monroe County. Those are directly in correlation with the drug epidemic we have. And as you know, we see that the drugs now are just seeping into our high schools with our kids, having issues in schools, and those are things that we need to really work on going forward. The other thing is making sure we have enough officers on the road to get in our communities and make safer neighborhoods for our folks, for the families to live and to thrive and to grow in. So I think those are the things that are the 3 things that we're actually facing coming up, or we're actually in now, but will be coming up in the future as well to address. Number 4 is always budgeting. We always get into budgeting issues when you're at the sheriff's department or any department in the county, because you're working off the taxpayers' money. And I think, as elected officials, we're going to have to learn to do more with less in the future, because like I say, people now in our county are striving in today's economy to be able to make ends meet, and we don't need to make those burdens any worse by the way we manage.
All right, thank you.
Tommy will ask this same question. What do you believe are the top 3 concerns or issues law enforcement officials are facing today, and how do you propose to address them here in Monroe County?
I'll echo what Randy said as far as the drug pandemic. It's a national issue. I know here in Monroe County we face that's probably our number 1 crime. We can associate most of our burglaries and thefts back to either the addiction of narcotics, the use of narcotics. That's something that you see on the bottom of every one of my signs: help fight the war on drugs. I said that 8 years ago. We used that slogan, continue to use that slogan, because it's continued to be an issue. We've had some great drug arrests. We've sent a lot of drug dealers to prison, seized a lot of narcotics from our streets. What I've found is that the harder and the more that we push on them here, they go to our local surrounding counties, and they start dealing from those counties back into ours. So with the underlying problem being narcotics, really, how do we do that? I feel like there's 2 approaches. One is drug dealers need to be incarcerated and spend many, many years in the penitentiary. They need to go to prison. The drug users, the addicts, I believe in reform. I believe that they should and need to be reformed to eliminate that problem. So, we've created a program we didn't create. We mirrored it after Polk County. It's been very successful so far. It's called the Overcomers Program. We're in our 5th class, and each class is 15 weeks long. So the inmates that's going through has been very successful. Same way with the GED program. We're trying to get these guys out of that cycle away from narcotics, so they can live a prosperous life once they get out of jail, not be a burden on society like they are. We do need an enhanced patrol division. It's not been grown any since 2000, and I was one of those 3 deputies that was hired, moved from the jail to patrol in 2000, and since then there's not been an increase in any of the patrol division. We inherited, when we came in office, the construction of the Justice Center, and so the focus has been on that jail, on the Justice Center, and staffing it and getting it up and running and certified. So it's kind of taken away the focus that we need to have on the patrol side of things. So those are, you know, 2 of the biggest things I'd like to see, and I want to see in the future, a workhouse here in Monroe County for these inmates. Again, it helps drop our recidivism rate, our repeat offenders. The Dyer County has a great program that we've tried to get passed here in Monroe County and mirrored after. Thank you.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Listen to Political Forum right here on WMTY and WDEH. We have candidates here from Monroe County Sheriff. Guys, next question I will ask, kind of your thoughts of what the role of sheriff is. Is the sheriff more of a manager or a law enforcement officer? And Tommy, we'll start with you, and we'll do 2 minutes on this one.
The sheriff holds many jobs, many hats that the sheriff wears. Yes, management means everything, because, you know, we're managing 101 full-time employees, plus our volunteers that we have. So, and then the jail over the inmate population. So management is crucial. I think me and Randy both have probably a little bit different approach on this. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not a Monday through Friday 9 to 5 sheriff. I haven't been, and probably never will be. I still go on search warrants with my narcotics guys. I still go out on calls. If we're short on patrol, I still go and put the uniform on and answer calls. You know, I feel like that I shouldn't lose that contact with the public. And being out answering those calls, being involved in the community helps me a lot to understand what the community truly needs. So a good administrator, a good office person, yes, that's very important. The benefit of being sheriff is we have chief deputies. If your chief deputy is strong in those areas, the jail administrator is strong in those areas, that can free the sheriff up to go out and be more involved in the community. And that's kind of the role that I've taken. You know, yes, I put the time in the office. I do the workshops and the boards I need to and have to. But at the same time, I still do spend quite a bit of time out actually functioning in other roles. The budget is a big issue. We just went through writing our new budgets. That's something that the sheriff has been involved in. You know, you have to sit and see where the tax dollars are being spent, how they're being spent, and try to save every dollar and cut every penny that we can from those budgets. So many hats.
Thank you, Tommy. And now, Randy, same question. Give us your thoughts, the role of sheriff, your opinion. Are they more of a manager or a law enforcement officer?
I think the modern day sheriff is more of a manager. I believe as you're elected to these offices, it's your responsibility to make sure that the office is being managed appropriately, financially, and that there's accountability for the officers, oversight for the people who are working underneath you. Because you know, it's our job as we're elected by the citizens of our county to hold our employees accountable, as the voters of this county will hold us accountable election time for what we do. I do believe you need to be in the office during the day. I know Tommy's talking about the 8 to 5. Yeah, I'm probably the 8 to 5 kind of sheriff. Will be. I believe you need to be there to take calls and to meet the public and address any concerns they may have during the daytime. And that would be being able to pass those things down to the appropriate places within your department, to making sure they're getting handled, as well as following up on them, making sure they do get taken care of. But going back to the financial end of it, I believe that, and as I do, I write my own budgets. And I think in order to administer a budget, you have to be able to write it. You got to know what you have in there and where it's going to go. I think I've showed over the past few years in my positions that writing budgets is something that I'm pretty strong in and done very well at managing our taxpayers' money. But I think, more of a manager. I think law enforcement, you have to know what's going on in order to be able to supervise. And we do supervise those people, but we have people in places as captains and chiefs and all of those departments who are also supposed to be making sure that jobs are getting done appropriately.
Thank you. Next question. Both of you have mentioned on some level staff, you mentioned budgeting. So let's couple those two ideas together for our next question. Are there enough deputies and staff to service the county and operate the Justice Center, or are more needed? And Randy, I believe you lead this one off, and you've got 2 minutes.
2 minutes. I believe, from what I can tell, within the jail staff looks pretty good. I think they've done a pretty good job staffing the jail. Do we need more deputies on the road as our county grows? We are going to require more deputies on the road to answer the calls of service. Do I think we can use our resources better? I do. I believe it just comes down, like I said just a minute ago, it's managing the resources you have and getting them deployed to the areas where they need to be and utilize them to the best of our ability. I think as administrators and as elected officials, we're going to have to learn to do more with less in the future, and and sometimes we have to, think outside the box to make that happen, and not always do things traditionally the way they've been done in the past. We can't be bound by what we've done in the past. We have to look to the future and strive to do things better and in different ways to make sure our county's getting the service that it deserves.
Thank you, Tommy. Jones, are there enough deputies and staff to service the county and operate the Justice Center, or are more needed?
When we came in, like I said earlier, we walked into a jail that was under a plan of action, decertified. The Justice Center was created, it was built. We were told during that process by the architects, and it was a sales gimmick, that it could be ran with the same amount of staff through the technology, through cameras, through this, through that. Well, it's not true. Once we got in, before we took possession of it, we had a staffing analysis done by CTAS and TCI. That staff analysis said we needed 81 staff members to run the jail. Now, we have not got that increase. We're still 30 understaffed in the jail. But that being said, the jail is functioning fine. We are fully certified, and we've actually reached another level of certification, which is called Tier 1. With Tier 1 means that we enhance the board bill from $39 a day to $41 a day. So it's an increase on what the state of Tennessee pays us to house inmates. We average around $900,000 to $1 million a year that comes into the county on a board bill that goes into the general fund. So that would enhance that. Like I said earlier also, we've had to focus on, because what county tells us how to operate is, I'm going to have to speak fast because I'm out of time on this, but TCI oversees the jail. We have to meet those minimum standards to stay certified. Now, I think it would be a disgrace for this county to put the money they have into a justice center, and this is not a jail, it's a justice center that houses many, many offices outside the sheriff's office, and it not be certified. So we've met those standards, we're certified. The post commission is what oversees the deputy side of things.
All right, we'll
They
pick
do
back.
not, yeah.
Okay. You're listening to Political Forum here with the candidates for Monroe County Sheriff. We've got the incumbent, Tommy Jones. We have the challenger, Randy White, in the Republican primary. And early voting begins April the 13th, goes through April the 28th, and then the primary election day is May 3rd. And so, Tommy, you're leading off this next question anyway, and you were kind of leading in to what I have as my next question. And I'll give you all more time on this particular question. Were the staffing needs and the cost to operate the Justice Center, when all it was beginning to be discussed, and were they underestimated? And you have 3 minutes to answer that and finish up anything you want to say on that previous question.
I'm going to finish the previous question first, and I'll answer that. The Tennessee Post Commission is what oversees the certified, post-certified officers, the deputies, detectives, narcotics, such as that. They don't set a standard. They don't say for every 50,000 residents you got to have 20 deputies or 40 deputies or what. That's up to the sheriff and the budget and the county commission and what we can get approved for. Yes, we do need an increase in deputies. Our call volume, and I won't give it to you now, but I can give you the exact number, but we ran over 18,000 calls last year, calls of service, with 5 deputies on a shift. These guys run from one call to the other call as quick as they can. Does the citizens truly get the service they deserve? No, they don't. Not when they're running call to call the way they are. So that's where that's coming from. In the beginning of the Justice Center, I don't think anything was overlooked. Because you got to remember the construction of the Justice Center came without a tax increase. There's $1.4 million turned back in to the county fund balance with the design and the construction of the Justice Center. Where the increase in my budgets came from is the staffing. The staffing was something that we were never told about, that us, and I say us because we were both there at the time, or the county commission was ever told that we needed this increase in staffing until it was done. And then that's when the TCI and CTAS came in and said, okay, here's the amount of employees you've got to have to operate this to meet that minimum standard. Well, we've met the minimum standard, still being 30 employees shy. Now, there again, the jail staff works very hard to do this. I have office personnel that works on the jail side. From my jail administrator down on court days, on heavy traffic days in the jail, they work in the back. They have to cover these positions to move these inmates. And it's still a slow process, a very slow process, because there's just not enough staff members in place to make it fast. But it works, and we are fully certified. So I don't think it was overlooked. I don't think it was underestimated. I just feel like it was, I believe Randy will remember this because sitting in on those meetings, we were never told about the increase that we had to have in staffing to run this facility.
Okay. Thank you, Tommy. Now, Randy White, same question. Were the staffing needs and the cost to operate the Justice Center underestimated?
I don't think so. I think looking back at it, and just from what I can remember from sitting in on the meetings with CTAS and with the construction folks and everybody involved in making decisions at that point, you know, they told us at that point we had to have 8 more people to run the jail efficiently, or the Justice Center, once we moved into it. We had those folks. The county commission provided them to us. And going into it, I know there was some changes after it was completed, and before they actually went in and inhabited the jail. But, you know, I think overall we had a pretty good picture of what we needed to do. I know when we looked at the policy and procedures for the jail, which actually gave you the post positions for the employees in there, the staffing and stuff would have been adequate, and I don't know because I wasn't there at the point when I first went in, they were supposed to do walkthroughs in the facility with TCI to make sure that the positions were there, that the employees were there, and they knew how to function in those positions. I know we put a lot of money into security cameras and different things like that in the jail, in the Justice Center. I keep calling it jail, but it's the Justice Center. To make it more efficient, so we could actually could manage with less people. But I think going into it, it's all in how you utilize your resources and manage those folks to the best of our ability.
Thank you. That's Randy White, along with Tommy Jones, candidates for Monroe County Sheriff. Again, early voting begins in the primary starting April the 13th. You're listening to the forum here on WMTY and WDEH. We also appreciate folks that are watching on our Facebook page, Oldies 98.3 WMTY. Search that and you can find our page on Facebook and watch. Also want to thank our sponsors who have made this broadcast possible tonight: Archer's Total Home Healthcare, Fairweather Financial, Paramount Insurance, Self-Defense Solutions, Valley Insurance, and Volunteer Federal Bank. I now turn back to my co-moderator for our next question, and We'll do 2 minutes to answer this one.
Okay, and I think Randy's up again.
Yes.
During the first District County Commission forum Tuesday night on this station, some of the candidates expressed concern over the growing Sheriff's Department and Justice Center budget. Do you foresee continued increased spending the next 4 years, or are there cost-saving measures that can be taken? And if you can, be as specific as possible on any cost-saving you might propose.
This is if you're elected.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, this is that what-if question, right?
Yes. Yes.
I know going in, this, I mean, like I said, finances and budgeting is a big concern of everyone around, especially in the climate that we're living in with a 7.9% inflation rate that we're living under right now in this nation. But the biggest cost you have, any business you have, is your employees. Anytime you're increasing the number of employees, automatically every year that cost of operations is going to go up, because of the price of benefits, and then those employees are going to get more expensive. We always have inflation. This year, last year when we were doing the budget, I figured my budget on 3.5% inflation rate. Well, we got a 7.9%. You know, a lot of things we can't project, and I kind of try to look to the future, try to project what we think it may be with those budgets. Do I think we can continue to operate as it is? I believe if we manage it and be very conservative, we can keep it from skyrocketing, yes. I believe we can control the cost of spending while actually providing the services to our community. But it's going to take some cutting back, and it's going to take some really, really studying the budget and the numbers hard to make that happen. You know, I kind of work off the theory of, you know, we're going to get what we need. We might always get what we want. But we're going to make sure that our citizens are taken care of at whatever cost it is.
Thank you, Randy. And Tommy, if you'll ask that again to Tommy.
I'll repeat that one. It was kind of a long one. And again, it's if you're elected. During the first District County Commission forum on Tuesday night, some of the candidates expressed concern over the growing Sheriff's Department and Justice Center budget. Do you foresee increased spending the next 4 years? Or are there cost-saving measures that can be taken? And if you want to propose some cost-saving measures, be as specific as you can on what those might be.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
That's a short period of time. Let me hit on the budget real quick. 2015-16 budget on the sheriff's side was 3.1 million. I'm not go into the pennies because I ain't got time. Currently today, it's $3,600,000. The jail was $2.4 million. It's 3.3 today. With the sheriff's budget, jail budget, drug fund, sex offender registry, we've had a $1.2 million increase since 2015 is what we've had in our budgets in every one of those. $499,000 on the sheriff's line, $886,000 on the jail side, and 133 decrease on the drug budget. Keep in mind, we've turned in from 2018 to present $5,824,000 out of our budget is what we've turned back in. We've generated $7,512,000 since 2015 as state board bill. That's what the state pays us to house these inmates. I heard a little bit of the meeting the other night, and one of your commissioners, I believe I'm responsible for COVID, global warming, and all tax increases. And that's just his opinion. These are the numbers you can pull from the finance department. You can confirm what I'm saying through them. So will they be an increase over a period of time? Yes, they will be. I mean, cost of living goes up. It does for your groceries, for your personal home. It will for the sheriff's office. Like Randy was saying, projections, we project each year how much our budget is going to go up. Is it 3%, 2%, 5%? It depends on the economy, basically, of how much it will go up. I will say this, we will do everything possible to keep our budget down, to ask for the minimum amount of money necessary, and to turn in as much as possible back to the county.
All right, thank you, and we will move to the next question. Tommy, you're up again.
It's Tommy and Tommy again. I think
Yes.
it's Tommy's turn. Are you in favor of civil service being implemented in Monroe County, or some type of protection to protect officers and staff when and if there's leadership changes in the sheriff's office?
Yes, I am. I've actually got Blount County and Loudoun County's merit board on my desktop right now. I've been studying it for months, talking to Sheriff Guider, along with Sheriff Barone. We have both been in the positions of deputies, sergeants, detectives, everybody it may have been at the time of an election. And you hear those results come in and the sheriff loses. And the stress on the staff is just as great probably as the stress on us, of worrying if you're going to lose your job, if you're going to be able to feed your family, if you're losing your health insurance in retirement. That's not fair to the deputies. The admin staff, yes, anyone elected to sheriff should and have the opportunity to bring in their chiefs and their captains and the people that is going to carry out their mission as sheriff. But as far as the deputies, jail staff goes, those guys should be protected by either a merit board or civil service. It costs us, the taxpayers, a lot of money. When these guys work for 15, 20, 25 years at the department, they get to know the county, they get to know the citizens. They know, because we deal with the same people over and over, they know how the fastest route to get to this call when it comes out. When you bring those new people in, it costs all that training, all the time and effort's been put in to train and certify and qualify these people to be deputies is basically lost. So, yes, I am in favor for it.
All right, thank you.
We'll ask Randy that same question. Are you in favor of civil service or some type of protection being implemented in Monroe County to protect officers and staff when and if there are leadership changes at the sheriff's office or position?
2 minutes.
Yes, I support merit board or civil service, either one. I know in the climate we live in, I know when I was the sheriff's department before, we actually sat down and talked to Jerome Nelson, who was the county attorney at that time, about trying to work into that process of getting civil service into Monroe County. I know Jerome did tell me at one time, he said really, and at the point we're at with the employment laws and stuff, the way they're written, it really doesn't protect you the way it used to, going into the merit board and stuff of that nature, because you can't just come in and fire an employee who's working in the sheriff's department. That just can't be done anymore. I know years ago, people say they clean house. That's not something, that's a thing of the past that can't be done. I do not believe that employees should be used as a pawn in elections. I said I'm strongly against that. My position is that the employees shouldn't even know there's elections going on, other than seeing the billboards and things going up on the side of the road. They should not be involved in it. They shouldn't be asked to participate in it, to put them in those positions. If I'm elected sheriff, I will not ask my employees to participate in it. I'll be the one running the campaign, running the election. Employees will not be involved, as they should not be. They shouldn't have to worry about their jobs. And I strongly support anything that would protect their jobs more, yes.
All right, thank you. And come to our next question. This was kind of just a quick hitter type thing. Just give us an answer without a ton of details. Just we want to know some ideas that you might have. And this one, just come back to Randy to lead this one off. What improvements would you like to see and work toward making happen in the sheriff's office? And Randy, if elected, what are some of those items that you would like to see improved or you would like to add?
Well, I think in the sheriff's office we need to be more involved in our neighborhoods. We need to be involved in our communities, making sure that our deputies are out there being seen. We need to be proactive in law enforcement in our county. When I say proactive, I mean being seen in the neighborhoods. Just the officer presence deters a lot of crime. And I think that we should be in all of our neighborhoods, not just a select few. We all pay taxes and we all deserve the same amount of protection.
All right, same thing to you, Tommy Jones. Do 1 minute on this. What improvements would you like to see and would work toward making happen if you were elected to another term? You got 1 minute.
I have to improve my detectives division and my narcotics division. Those are two divisions I feel like we have to improve upon. Everything else is running pretty smooth. I do want the deputies to be able to be in the communities more. That's where we use the auxiliary program to get these guys through and to get them out in the communities. It is a strong program we have, a strong division that we have. But now the narcotics, where I want to see the enhancements on it is the two guys I have are doing a great job, really good job. But at the same time, we have a lot of drug problems, and we have to focus on those because, like we both said earlier, that is our major crime in this county, and that's something that we have to enhance. And I hope to do that with the Metro Narcotics. Unofficially, we've been doing it for a long time with the cities, working with them, but make it official.
Thank you. Our next question will go back to Tommy Millsaps to ask this one. This was submitted from a Monroe County citizen, potential voter. So, Tommy, what do you got?
Okay, and I guess it's Tom again on this. We're learning as we go on this one. But in your opinion, do the new firearm carry laws taking effect in Tennessee this summer, does that make law enforcement's job easier or more difficult?
1 minute.
I'm not going to say it does either. I believe in constitutional carry. I believe the Constitution clearly states that we have the right to bear arms, as long as we've not committed a felony to take those rights away from ourselves. I do not like open carry. It's policy at the sheriff's office, off duty, the deputies are not to carry open. I feel like that makes a person a target. If someone walks into this room and they're going to shoot up the place, whoever has the gun, the pistol on their side, becomes a threat to them. That's the first person they're going to shoot. You know, my biggest thing is on the law enforcement side, if you do have a loaded handgun or weapon on you, please tell the deputies that you do when they approach you. Don't surprise them with it. Yes, it's a fine law. I have no issues with it.
Thank you. Tommy, you care to re-ask the question to Randy?
I will do that. Randy, in your opinion, do the new firearm carry laws taking effect in Tennessee this summer, does it make law enforcement officers' job harder or easier?
I don't think it really affects us the way we're going to approach each and every situation, as we always have, with caution. You know, we're trained how to approach people and to be respectful of those people and their rights. I am a proponent of constitutional carry. I believe if you want to carry a weapon and you're able to do that's your right. Will I come and get your guns if the federal government tells me to? No, I won't. I don't believe that is something that we should be involved in. I do believe that we have to be in the community, in the community, as you know, the sheriff had pointed out a while ago. You know, we've had several officer-involved shootings lately here in our county and the surrounding counties. The day we live in is getting more dangerous, but yeah, I do believe that everybody has a right to carry a weapon if they want to.
All right, thank you. We'll go to our next question, and what I've added in here, hearing you guys talk, as mentioned earlier in the forum, and I remind folks you're listening to Political Forum here on WMTY and WDEH with primary candidates, Republican primary candidates for Monroe County Sheriff, again with no opposition in the general election. One of these two gentlemen will be the next sheriff. Of course, Tommy, the incumbent right now, seeking another term, and Randy, the challenger. Your philosophy as sheriff, and where are we starting back here? We're going with Randy to start this one out. What percentage of running a justice center or policing is it about punishment versus rehabilitation? Give us your philosophy on that, and give us a minute to tell us what you think.
Well, my philosophy is that, you know, the punishment comes from the courts. You know, when you violate a law, when you're arrested, you're charged, and the court finds you guilty. They render your punishment there, whatever time it is they give you. I think once they're in our facility, and it's our responsibility while they're there, is to try to rehab those people. You know, the sheriff alluded to the recidivism rate. Ours in Monroe County is probably up in the upper 80s at this point, and it costs the county a lot of money to house those prisoners. And if we want to save money, going back to the tax dollars, we need to rehab those folks and try to keep them out of our facilities and to make them more productive in our communities.
Thank you. Tommy Jones, same question to you. How much is law enforcement operating a justice center? Is it about punishment or rehabilitation? You mentioned some things earlier about rehabilitation, so just touch on your thoughts there.
Like Randy said, the courts issues the punishment. The sheriff, no matter if it's me or him or whoever, we get the blame for letting these people out of jail. You know, why did the sheriff let them out of jail for? Well, we work off court orders, mandating us to jail. If that order says that they do 11 months, 29 days at 30%, then that's what they do. And we have to, by law, to release them when their time is done. If it's 2 years, 3 years, over what it might be, you know, on our side, we'd like to see probably more jail time. It's an individual basis. It does, to me, it depends on the crime, it depends on the person, it depends on the criminal history. This program we have in place now, we do those assessments, and we base it off of those things. If they qualify for rehabilitation, if it's someone that shows interest in it, or like I said earlier, you know, drug dealers need to go to prison. They need to go as long as they can. Our drug addicts are the ones that needs the rehab.
Thank you. All right, we'll move to our next question. Interesting question here for you guys. It's not a secret you guys know each other very well. And so a minute on this answer, and Tommy, you get the fortune of leading this one off. Tommy, would Randy make a good sheriff? You got 1 minute.
Good Lord, what kind of question is that? You know, I will not sit here and say a bad word about Randy in any way. As you said, we have known each other for well over 20 years now. I served as his chief deputy. He served as my chief deputy. Management-wise, we are different. We really are. As far as at the end of the day, is he going to do what's right for the county? Is he going to do the best he can with his deputies? Yes, he will. So I can't say that no, he'd do a bad job and he's a terrible guy. I never would say that. So yeah, he'll do the best he can. I do think I'll do better, but at the same time, he would do a fine job.
Thank you. Now, Randy, has Tommy done a good job as sheriff?
Well, I'm running. I'm not going to sit here and badmouth anybody because that's just not what I do. It's not in my nature to do that. But I'll say this, you know, do I think there's areas of improvement in our sheriff's department? There's always areas of improvement. There is a different philosophy that he has that I have in management and managing employees and the way we run things. There will be a difference if it should change and I get elected in May. Then if I take over in September, yeah, you will see a difference in the way things are run within the sheriff's department. I'm not going to tell you I'm going to keep things the same. It's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. But am I going to sit here and say he's a bad sheriff and he's done awful? No. I think Tommy has done the best he can do with what he has. That's what I'll say.
All right, thank you. And guys, I didn't ask that thinking you guys would badmouth each other. So you passed.
Good.
So that leads us into our final question. And again, these are candidates for the Republican primary for Monroe County Sheriff. And early voting starts April the 13th. Election day is May 3rd. Again, with no opposition. I keep saying this so people tuning in will understand. No opposition. In May, one of these two guys, this is it. The winner will be the next sheriff in the new term. So finally, just to play off of that last question I just asked, you've touched on it some, but you have an opportunity here. You're talking to us right here, Tommy and myself as voters. You got people watching, you got people listening. To wrap up the forum this evening, you have 2 minutes. And we will start with Randy on this one. Why are you the best man for the job? And you have 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Well, I feel like that, you know, over the years as administrator, I've proven myself as a leader and as administrator and a good caretaker of the county's tax money. My record shows that. I'll bring accountability to my departments as one thing that I look at. I hold my employees accountable as I hold myself accountable to the taxpayers of this county, to do the best job and to provide the best services we can. Going forward, I will look out for our county as far as the financial end of it, and I will be the best sheriff that I can be as far as being responsive to the concerns and the needs of our communities. I'll be there to hear and to listen to those and to address them accordingly. But do I think we need change? Yes, I do think we need change, because that's the reason I'm running. Like I said a while ago, there's always room for improvement in everything we do. Do I think that if I get elected, people will tell you that there's things are perfect? No, there's not, because there's always somebody looking to find fault in everything we do. But I will do the best job that I can, and I will have the county's interest at heart.
Thank you. So, Tommy Jones, you get the last word. Why do you feel that you are the best candidate for the job? And you have 2 minutes.
As we go out and campaign, we knock on doors, we ask people for their vote, their support, and we count down the days to the election to see if we're going to be employed or not employed, and if our employees are going to continue to have jobs. But it's not a good feeling sometimes, but at the same time, it tells us and teaches us where we're strong, where we're weak at, because that's when you hear the complaints. That's when people says, hey, you need to fix this, or you need this, you have this problem or this issue. So being in the office and being the sitting sheriff, I've heard those complaints. I agree with some of those complaints, and they will be addressed and will be fixed. When you first come into office, honestly, the first term, you're playing catch up. You're trying to get everything in place and grow the department in the direction that you want to, your vision. And each one of us have a different vision for this office. With us already being in office and growing the department the way we have, I know those problems and those issues, and I can address them, and I can address them quickly. We've enhanced, we've added 6 new SROs since I've been in office. We have more protection for our children and schools and the staff. We've worked very hard financially. You can see and you can pull these numbers. We have turned down a lot of money each year back to the county. We've enhanced our board bills. With the help of the county commission, in the future we can even grow those board bills greater and generate more money back to the county. Being in law enforcement, running the jail is not about making money, but I do believe we should do everything possible to offset the tax burden on our citizens. The criminals are the purpose and the reason for this new justice center, not the good law-abiding citizens. They carry the financial burden. So that's where the reform comes in.
All right, and with that, Bell, we will wrap up our sheriff forum for tonight. Tommy Jones, Randy White, thank you for your time. Good luck to each of you in your campaign. And folks, we'll be going to cast votes in just a few short days. April the 13th, start of early voting, runs through April the 28th, and then primary election day on May 3rd. We're not done tonight. We're going to wrap up this forum, take about a 15-minute intermission, and then we will come back with candidates for Monroe County Mayor. We'll start somewhere between 7 and 5 minutes after 7, somewhere in that range. So stay tuned on the radio, and then on Facebook we'll pop up a new live video in just a few moments for that. Again, gentlemen, thank you. Thank you for your time, and thank you for listening, folks. We'll be back in just a little while.
Bad hair day? Bad day at the office? Bad day behind the wheel? Hey, stuff happens, even to the best of us. At least your car insurance rate doesn't have to take a hit. Get Erie Rate Lock from Erie Insurance. Gives you a great rate that stays put until you change a car, driver, or your address. Plus, seriously good service. Now that's something to smile about.
Your local Erie agent in Sweetwater is Valley Insurance. Get a quote at valleyinsuranceservice.com or call 423-337-7777.
Erie Rate Lock does not guarantee continued insurance coverage and is not available in all states.
Hi, this is Jim Fairweather. I'm the owner and founder of Fairweather Financial right here in Monroe County. The financial services industry is constantly in motion. One day your advisor is here, the next day somewhere else. If your financial advisor has recently changed companies, retired, or just left the business, I invite you to let Fairweather Financial have an opportunity to earn your trust. As an independent wealth manager, I don't have any quotas to meet nor sales contests to compete in. I work for only you, my valued client. I invite you today to give us a call at 423-337-6565 or check us out on the web. Just Google Fairweather Financial or like our our Facebook page. We would love to have the opportunity to earn your business.
Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, SIPC.
Southeast Tennessee's choice for home oxygen and medical equipment is Archer's Total Home Health Care. Archer's also provides CPAPs, BiPAPs, masks, and supplies. So the next time you need home medical equipment, ask for the professionals with the knowledge, experience, and the area's most complete line of home medical equipment services. Ask for Archer's or call them at 423-337-5812. Archer's, Southeast Tennessee's choice for healthcare needs.
This is Jenny Seiler at Paramount Insurance. People often ask me why they should purchase insurance from a local agent rather than online. Actually, there are many benefits. First, at Paramount, we can do the work for you to find the best value and coverage from many companies. Second, we can discuss and address your specific needs rather than selling you a cookie-cutter policy. Most importantly, should you need any help or service, we are right here in Sweetwater and easy to get in touch with. Call us today at Paramount Insurance and let us help you.
For nearly 50 years, Volunteer Federal has been providing banking services to our friends, our family, and our neighbors. But not all our customers started out that way. Some were complete strangers when they first visited our bank. We believe banking should be about people, personal relationships, and community. It's why our customers are more than account numbers. They turn into friends. Volunteer Federal, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
When it comes to protecting yourself and your family, let Self-Defense Solutions keep you safe. They offer the Enhanced Carry Class the second Saturday of the month and the Concealed Carry Class the fourth Saturday of the month. And they have a great selection of new and used guns available and now offer 90 days same as cash. They have ammo in stock. And you'll find reasonable gun repairs from a licensed gunsmith. Self-Defense Solutions is located at 4120 Highway 411 in Madisonville. Their current business hours are Tuesday through Saturday, 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Give them a call at 423-442-7486.